red font. I stopped on that. But it's not, nothing I'm going to read better than that. It's hard to top. It really.
That was a good one. Well, you know what? He achieved his goal. He got our attention.
Back in the back. Scary. Yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to the Northampton County Council meeting. We'll start with the pledge. Mr. Myers, would you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Zumba, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Mr. Kuzic, Mr. Giovanni,
Here.
Mr. Gofredo,
Here.
Mr. Heckman,
Here.
Mr. Lott,
Here.
Mr. Myers,
Here.
Ms. Fargo Hefner,
Here.
Ms. Zirinsky. Here. All present except Mr. Kuzic. Wow.
Thank you. Next, can we have an approval of the minutes of February 3rd, 2022?
So moved. Second.
Could you decide who that was?
I never got in, so
There you go.
I seconded it. Kusic's not here, so I figured I could do it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposition? None. Next, we have courtesy of the floor. There are a lot of people here, and before I let people that signed in to speak, I have a letter that someone sent in that they wanted read, and then I will call you up one by one. 5 minutes maximum time to speak. The letter is dated February 17th, 2022, addressed to the Honorable Lamont McClure, County Executive. Dear Executive McClure, please accept this letter as a small token of my appreciation for your gracious and generous support for small businesses in Northampton County. The dedication you have provided in helping our community continue to operate during the pandemic is a direct reflection of your administration and the county commissioners who play a significant role in our success. The grant my company received from your program allowed me to maintain an adequate level of support to local government clients who continue facing challenges as they unravel from the pandemic. I am deeply grateful to your commitment of using the appropriated federal funds to help the local community move forward and allow our economy to prosper. It is with this letter that I express my sincerest thanks to you and your administration and the county commissioners for the financial assistance provided to my company. Warmest regards, Peter Milan, MPA, President Polity. The first person that is signed in is Tara Mezzanotti.
Thank you. My name is Tara Mezzanotti. I'm with the I-80DWG Coalition, and I live in Knowlton Township. Tonight, you have a resolution before you. It is supporting a request for a study of Interstate 80 in Warren County, New Jersey, that impacts Northampton County, Pennsylvania. It will be supporting the regional efforts requesting the NJDOT to immediately initiate a problem statement to study the safety, mobility, and congestion issues on I-80 from exit 4, Portland Columbia Bridge, and the Delaware Watergate Bridge. 2, the request initiates a regional traffic study. And 3, we're hoping that we can delay the I-80 Rockfall project pending the outcome of such studies. And it also is encouraging all municipalities, state and federal elected representatives, organizations, and everybody else in the area to also support this effort as well. I thank you guys for having us the past 2 months at the earlier committee meeting. You've had some really great questions as to why this is important to us. No matter what happens with the I-80 Rockfall project, we're going to be left with the issues of the S-curve. So we're here tonight asking you guys to, again, support pushing the DOT to study the safety, mobility, and congestion issues in the S-curve. The Lower Mount Bethel, Upper Mount Bethel, Portland, and I think I'm forgetting somebody. You know, I think those three came last month to represent their municipalities, to say that we have issues right now and we would appreciate the support. We have Representative Emmerich's office is with us tonight, who's going to comment on this as well. In support, Senator Scavello has given me explicit permission to say he completely supports this resolution. He's been on record multiple times about these issues. And we also have Lori Chesler with us tonight, who is a Warren County Commissioner, who's also going to say a few words. So thank you for your questions. Thank you for your consideration. And we do appreciate all of them and the support you've given this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Lori Chesla.
Good evening. I'm Lori Chesla. I'm from Lopakon Township, New Jersey. I'm a Warren County Commissioner, and I am here to thank you for like the last couple of committee meetings that we've been here, for entertaining us. And I'd like to give a big thanks to Tara for providing you with all the very minute details that you needed about everything that's going on with the Rockfall project. Now, this resolution is not about the Rockfall project. It is about the S-curve. As we know, this river that separates us also binds us. We have traffic going back and forth all the time, Jersey, Pennsylvania. We know that with this S-curve up there, it's already been a problem. We already have a lot of traffic problems. With the Rockfall project, they're not going to do anything to the S-curve, so they'll do all this work and they'll put it back there. With the increased building that we have going on both sides of the river, this is going to be an issue. It's an issue now. It's going to be even worse in the future. And how does it affect you guys? It does, because when they're working on the Rockfall project, when that happens, the traffic is going to be diverted from 80 to 287 South to 78 and over into here, and it'll spill into 22 into 33. But the problem is, again, that we really need a study to look at the S-curve and what can be done in the future. Rockwall or no Rockwall, we do have increased building going on both sides. We're gonna have a lot more people living out here. As you know, during COVID, our county and your county became very attractive to people who are living in the cities, and they wanted to come out here and they stay, and they should, because it's such a great place to live. And it might seem odd that we're asking Pennsylvania to help us with New Jersey DOT, but we do need your help, because like we said, I mean, especially up north on 80, we have a lot of New Jersey and Pennsylvania people going back and forth, just doing their daily lives. And it's really is a big part of your community and our community. So we really do appreciate your support of our resolution that we passed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Baljit Bansal. Most of you have signed in your names and addresses, but if you haven't, I'm going to ask you to do so. Sir, I have yours, so that's fine.
Sure. I just wanted to say thank you. My name is Baljit Bansal. I'm along here with my brother Jasmeet Bansal, and I'm one of the owners of Aman's Artisan Indian Cuisine in downtown Easton. And here to really thank you for the grants that you gave our restaurant, and thank you, Mr. McLeod, for working on that, and county members. I'm here to tell you that they actually have real-world impact. So we heard some stories that, you know, that they may be going away, but I'm here to tell you that COVID has put us in a very difficult situation. Even though the brunt of the pandemic may be over, we are now in a post-COVID crisis where the inflation is really starting to affect a lot of restaurant businesses. And I have a little bit of examples here that I would like to share with you. For example, the price of oil, regular cooking oil. Before COVID, it was $17 a gallon. Right now, it's sitting at $52 a gallon. Chicken, the chicken that we all love, and it mostly used by a lot of restaurants, was $45 a case. Now it's hovering around $110 to $120 a case. Cream, $39 a case. Right now it's $60. Onions, a bag of 51 onions was $16 a case. Right now, you can go and check at Restaurant Depot. It's at $34 a case. Cauliflower is $19. Up to $42. And last but not least, you know, there are many examples, but to-go containers. As you know, it's COVID, so everybody's doing a lot of to-goes. But what people don't realize, all those plastic containers, the bags, you know, the cost is up by 30 to 40%. And here's the sad part. Most of this stuff is being made in Asia. So everything is stuck, and the businesses are stuck, paying the price for this. The other day, I went to Bridgewater, to Uniqlo, to get some clothes, and they charged me 25 cents for a bag, paper bag. Otherwise, they said I could take my clothes in my hand. So I'm sitting there wondering, imagine if restaurants started doing that, how much business they would lose. So just saying thank you for the grants that you give. They really do help us. They've helped us, maintain our payroll. They've really helped, especially with the price increases that are going on in inflation. It is absolutely out of control. I think our biggest frustration right now is 3 months ago, you could see empty shelves. Now when you go shop, the shelves are full, but the prices are still up there. So to us as business owners, it seems, all right, I think there's some kind of advantage being taken off here. So just putting it out there. UGI said they're increasing prices on gas. All the restaurants in downtown Easton use a lot of gas. Small mom and pops like us, it is very difficult for us to compete with warehouse hourly rates, which I'm sure, as you all are aware, the warehouses are wonderful. They are really creating very good, high-paying jobs. But the same workforce that used to at one point work for restaurants has all disappeared. And when we ask them, would you like to come back? Yeah, they're like, sure. Give me $25 or $30 an hour. It is impossible for restaurants to do that. And a restaurant like ours that has to rely strictly on food, you can see what the margins are. So it is very, very impossible. So how have we gotten around this? The ownership has taken the brunt of the brunt of the pain. We have slashed our salaries by almost 70% just to make sure the employees are getting paid. So the businesses can stay afloat as much as we can. We survived COVID. I'm pretty sure we can survive this. So every time, you guys pass grants, trust me, it really helps. Please, it really helps. All right, so do consider that they are real world impact that you're having. I call you guys like the angels on earth. You don't see, we don't see you. So I'm very happy that I got to see you today, but you have that impact. And it is ironic, I'll conclude by this. It is ironic, sorry, two things. PPP, our restaurant got a third of the requested PPP. We had requested $150,000, we only got $50,000. And when we asked why, they're like, wait, your payroll report's only showing $50,000 of payroll. And then we realized, oh, we're not paying ourselves. So they only gave us what the payroll reports were showing. This happened twice with us. And ironically, this morning at 3 a.m., I got a letter from the SBA. Hey, your SBA EIDL loan has been declined. So I conclude by just saying thank you again. Your grants, they really do help. Please keep up the good work. Really appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Jasmeet Bansal, did you want to speak also?
Good evening. My name is Jasmeet Bansal. I am Baljit's younger brother, also part co-owner at Almonds, and I also have another small business that was primarily wedding videography and just commercial filmmaking, which also took quite a hit over the past 2 years. And just a simple example would be equipment purchases that we had over the past 2 years. Whatever we had bought, credit card payments never stopped. So the grants that we did receive through the county really did help take care of all payments and everything while we waited to get back into the industry. With everything coming back up, it affected everyone in a real world situation. So really thankful for that. Our focus has been mostly also on the restaurant because there's so many people who are employed there. So yeah, just really appreciative of that. And it goes a long way. So any future grants coming out there, we are lucky we got it. There are many businesses out there that could really use it. And your consideration using the federal funds allocated towards this is very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I believe it's Aaron Grins. Did I say that correctly?
Yes. Hello, good evening. My name is Erin Grins. This is my husband, Ray. We are performers, and we have a small performing company based out of Easton. You may have seen us at some of the festivals downtown. We walk on stilts. We have a comedy juggling show. Before the pandemic, we were able to teach students how to juggle, spin plates, and put on their own circus shows. As you can see, everything we do is people-facing, large groups of people-facing generally. We heard about this grant program just this past December for the first time, and we applied immediately in January as soon as it was opened. It was brought to our attention that the committee is considering closing the program, and we just wanted to come here tonight to share with you that for businesses like ours, you know, and that depend on lots of things, but primarily groups of people gathering, you know, large groups in our case, this pandemic is not over. We are still being affected by this. Back in March 2020, we basically saw our entire business dry up and disappear practically overnight. It was absolutely devastating. And what I think what the hardest part was it was through no fault of our own. We did nothing to cause this to happen. You know, but we did get some government help. It was amazing. The government stepped up. It created programs to take care of people like us, and we got through it. We survived. You know, we didn't lose the house. We were able to continue. It was amazing. Fast forward to this past summer, it actually did feel like things were getting back to normal. Clients were booking events again. We were performing again. It was amazing. We were just so happy to be doing our jobs. We looked at each other. We were like, we made it. Okay, this is over. We got this. We survived. We're going to be okay. And then Omicron hit. And you know what? It felt like a repeat of March 2020 again. Like our business disappeared overnight. Nobody was booking anything. And this time around, there was no help. All those programs are closed. That's it. We're living off of savings. So we wanted to ask the committee to consider continuing this program. I mean, as long as you can, but I mean, at least for people like us and maybe even restaurants, into the warmer months. You know, we have more options when the weather is warmer. Clients feel more comfortable booking events. Restaurants can have people sit outside. Like, there are things you can do. To end this program in the middle of winter, it just seems a little harsh. You know, we're tired, just like every single person here. We're so tired of this. We're tired of having to ask for help. It stinks. We want to stand on our own 2 feet and like run our business like we did for years. We maybe even more than anybody want this to be back to normal because we need people to do what we do. But we're not there yet. Things are not back to normal yet. You know, if the committee sees fit to allocate any of these funds to our little business, it would be extraordinary. It would help us get past this winter and into the summer and the spring, when hopefully we could have more clients booking and we could work and, you know, pretend that things are normal and get back to life, you know. I'm on one of Easton's committees downtown, and we have a grant program that we facilitate, and I get it. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time going through applications, and you guys have been doing it for a really, really long time, so I know how tiring it must be. And so I guess we wanted to say thank you for that, for the time that you've put into this. Thank you for the businesses you have helped. You know, we live in Easton, so thank you for supporting our community, right? And please just consider keeping this going a little while longer for other small businesses like ours that you might not have even known existed here in Easton. But we're here and we're still struggling. So just please consider that. Thank you all very much for your time. And if you see us at a festival, come say hi. Or hi, I guess. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Lisa Alexander.
Hi, I'm Lisa Alexander. I'm a holistic healthcare practitioner, and I help a lot of people in a lot of ways, primarily de-stress and feel better. I help people who are going through things like cancer and people who are just going through traumatic events and they need to de-stress. When COVID hit, I was a non-essential worker. I was completely shut down for 4 months. And then when we reopened, honestly, I was very close to taking a warehouse job until this grant came, because we don't make a lot of money as holistic healthcare practitioners. We really offer a service because we want to serve. We love, we care, and we help. We go into hospice. I train therapy dogs. We do all kinds of stuff. And we do a lot of it sometimes for no money, but just to help. And I work from home, and after the 4 months, I couldn't even reopen because of my liability policy. I could not make my little 1,500 square foot ranch in Nazareth COVID safe. So I literally couldn't reopen. So I had to either go to one of the yoga centers and try to do my work there, but guess what? They all closed. All the yoga centers in the Nazareth area closed during COVID. I didn't even ask for the full amount. I asked for just enough to help get me started again and allow me to take some of my business virtually so I could, there's a lot of expense when you scale your business technology-wise. It's not just getting a Zoom or this and that. There's a lot of expense for the type of stuff that I do to do that. So I've been able to, thanks to this money, I've been able to do hybrid programs now where I can work both online, I can create programs that people can refer to all the time. So it did really help my business a lot, and I know there's other businesses out there who are still struggling. There's a lot of people like me who do good for the community and are really grateful that you guys did this for us. And when I told some other people about it, a lot of them just said something as simple as, just a $10,000 would be enough to help get me through. So I know you're considering reallocating some of the money, and all I can say is if you really need to reallocate some of the money for other things, I understand that. Maybe still keep something, because just something is better than nothing. Because honestly, that little something I got kept me in business and kept me serving my clients rather than pulling boxes off a shelf at 58 years old in a warehouse, although I'd make more money doing that. But anyway, so thank you very much for what you've done, and I just asked you to take all of these things into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Helena Lazarini.
Good evening. My name's Helena Lazarini. I live in Nazareth. I'm a Navy veteran, and I own a donut shop in Nazareth. And I first of all wanted to thank you for the grants that you have given. And it's helped a lot, and if it wasn't for that, I probably would have closed doors in the beginning. Mainly because, piggyback off of what he said, for example, butter was $40 a case before COVID, and now it's $140. A case of gloves was $60 a case, and now it fluctuates between $111 and at one point it was $130. So, and also recently what I've been coming across is employees. I can't compete against Amazon, Wegmans, and Walmart with their pay. I just lost 2 high school kids that barely started driving to go work at Wegmans to make $18 an hour. My donuts are $1.90 to $2. There's so much I can do. Now, I'm not taking any profit in order to be able to keep my current employees in order to raise them so I don't lose the little bit I had left. Before COVID, I had 23 employees. I have 8 now. I go in about 4 in the morning, and I don't get out until we close in order to keep the business. So what you did give helped a lot. It would really help if you continue, so I can maybe add a couple more employees and take a step back a little. And so I appreciate it. Payroll went up, rent went up, electricity went up, everything's gone up, and the small business, not much there to help us. And, customers get upset if you raise price, but when everything goes up, there's so much you can do. So I appreciate any help you can continue giving. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your service, Mrs. Lazarini.
Thank you.
Bob Kilbanks? And we don't have an address here for you, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm Bob Kilbanks. I reside at 4695 South Delaware Drive, Easton 18040. And I'm here tonight representing State Representative Joe Emmerich, who could not be here this evening. So I want to acknowledge County Council and County Executive McClure, and I'm here to speak about the I-80 DWG issues involving traffic throughout the Delaware Water Gap. As part of a united bi-state movement, Representative Emmerich has joined with other Pennsylvania elected officials who are supporting the efforts of New Jersey elected officials that have expressed safety concerns and support for fixing the S-curve on the New Jersey side of the Delaware River. All of us here tonight have seen the world-class natural beauty of Mount Tammany and the Delaware Water Gap. We probably have all driven the 4-lane I-80 S-curve in New Jersey and the 2-lane winding curves of Route 611 north of Portland and through Upper Mount Bethel Township. So we could say that from our own driving experiences, it's hard to imagine that our Route 611 in Northampton County would be used as a major detour route for New Jersey road construction when alternate options are possible and should be explored. And because of these safety concerns that have been expressed to the County Council's Environmental Committee over the past several weeks, I can tell you that those bits of information are truly well-researched by the truly committed and concerned individuals and many elected officials. And that's the reason why Representative Emmerich supports the resolutions that are being presented, and he hopes that County Council truly reviews them and signs on to the bi-state movement on this subject. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak at courtesy of the floor? Need you to come forward, state your name and your address.
Hi, my name is John, and this is Deborah Pavis. Our address is 6711.
Slow down, sir, and spell your name, sir.
Okay, it's just like Davis, but with a P as in Paul.
Thank you.
I have to say that a lot.
And your address?
6711 Kirchner, Kerchner Drive. It's in Bethlehem, 18017. And Deb and I are here tonight because we're the owners of New Heart Pharmacy in Northampton, Pennsylvania. And we received 2 grants for our pharmacy, and we're here to express our appreciation for that. You know, during COVID, we couldn't close. We had to stay open. We had to make sure we wanted to keep all our employees employed at the same hours. And, you know, to be honest with you, business did go down, but we had to come up with creative solutions to get people their medications and whatever they needed, because people didn't feel safe leaving. So we had to increase deliveries to every day of the week, which meant more employees, more cars on the roads, curbside deliveries, anything that was needed. And these grants came at the most, you know, some of the tougher times that we were so appreciative for it. And when vaccines started coming out, which we knew was the way to get out of this, we tried to really hold a good program so that we can get everyone vaccinated, whether it was going to their house. We hired a lot of college kids that couldn't go to college to come and help us. And we really got that program going. People knew where to come for their vaccines. But, you know, you look around 30 years ago, there were so many independent pharmacies. We're one of the few standing, and we want to remain there. But we really, truly appreciate what you did for us. And I know there are a lot of people out there that are still hurting. And if you can do anything for them, we'd truly appreciate it.
Yes, so just please continue the program. It really makes a huge difference for small business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak courtesy of the floor? Okay, that concludes. Mr. McClure, do you have a county executive report?
I do. It's my honor to be addressing the commissioners of the county council tonight. You'll apologize if I do not refer to you as angels on earth, but but that is, I think, he wins tonight, right? I mean, he wins the internet, and it is a wonderful expression, and I think, I wasn't going to make this part of my report, but I think what you just heard was from a broad cross-section of businesses and geography throughout Northampton County, and that phrase, angels on earth, does, I think, crystallize what County Council has done for small business in Northampton County to help them survive and hopefully thrive on the other end of the pandemic. We heard a lot about making America great, and when I started to hear that, I thought, we're already great, and there are things that I think speak to our greatness, and one of them is athletics, and athletics done in the best way. And tonight, I would like to present a proclamation. You want to come up here? To Coach Rick Faust. And the coach just had come on up, Coach. Coach just had a milestone that I want to share with everyone. And I'll dispense with the whereases. Coach Rick Faust achieved his 600th win milestone over his 35-plus year career as a swim coach in Bethlehem, currently at the YMCA and Liberty High School. Over the years, we as a nation have become increasingly sports-minded, and many athletes could not have risen to their current performance levels without the guidance and encouragement of those who have coached them at every stage of their progress. Coaches are highly qualified teachers in highly specialized fields. But more than that, they are friends and counselors who help instill in their charges important attitudes that will serve them all their lives. A coach can help to teach a student the value of teamwork, discipline, and a healthy attitude towards competition. The satisfaction of coaching usually comes through the achievements of others whom they've helped. Coach Faust is a 1977 graduate of Freedom High School. He began coaching, you're Freedom, right?
I am.
Yep. In 1984, Coach Faust swam at Bloom and credited his family with helping him stay involved in the sport so long. His current record stands at 603 wins, 203 losses, and 4 ties. I bet you remember all the ties. He was quick to praise almost anyone before himself with the achievement, but eventually acknowledged that he had an inherent ability to help young swimmers improve. Coach Faust is not only a great coach, he helps the students develop their character outside of swimming and their skills in swimming. Now, therefore, do I, Lamont G. McClure, Northampton County Executive, on behalf of the citizens of the county, recognize and congratulate Coach Rick Faust for his 600-win milestone achievement. Northampton County, Pennsylvania, February 17th, 2022.
Wow.
There you go. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's exciting to have you here with us. 600 wins is a big deal. You want to say something? Go ahead.
This is very nice. I just wanted to say thank you. It is a passion of mine. I truly love going to practice every day, and actually I just came from practice to get here. So, but I enjoy the kids, and more important to me than the 600 wins was is the relationship you build with the kids, and getting them to understand, set a goal, and understand what they need to do to get there, and show them the path to get there, and that's important. My mom taught me to swim. My dad taught me everybody gets a chance. My high school coach, Bill Ruth, showed me how to do all that, and I'm thankful to them, truly. But I am very honored by this award, and thank you very much. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Coach never coach my kid. He'd probably be faster if he did. He's pretty fast, but Coach coaches some really fast kids right now. Some really fast kids. To continue my report tonight, we heard about warehouses, and we hear an awful lot about what different organizations are doing about warehouses and what can be done, and oh my God, warehouses. And we have to understand, as an economic engine, it is our responsibility to balance economic development and job creation with land preservation. And this is a thing that we have constantly been working on in Northampton County. But we're the only entity that actually can do something about farmland being taken for warehouses. And over the last 4 years, we put about $12 million into preserving farmland, open space, and environmentally sensitive land. If I have anything to say about it, we'll put that much and maybe more going forward into the future. To that end, I can announce we're about to get approximately $400,000 from the Shrimp TIF development side deal that was made when the TIF was implemented. So that's $400,000 extra than we budgeted for, which means we'll have maybe a little more money to sneak in and purchase another large tract of land like we just did with Spangler. And to that end, with respect to farmland preservation, we have now moved into 6th place in the state for the amount of state contribution we receive back. So we have, our county funds have been, this is just for this year, $1,100,000. State funds we're receiving as our match, $2.3 million for a total of $3.4 million. We've crossed the 18,000 acre threshold. We've crossed the 228 farms preserved threshold. So we're doing the thing we can about warehouse proliferation while we're balancing our needs to do economic development and job creation. Thought I'd let you know about that. I chaired my first full meeting as the chair of the coordinating committee of the Lehigh Valley Transportation Study. Most folks never heard of it, but it is an extremely important body. And I wanted to tell you that some of the new money from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act has already been sent to us for 2022 that PennDOT was required to program immediately. And I wanted to share with you some of the projects that have had some of that money shared with it and how much. There's going to be $900,000 from the new money applied to the PA 33 Bushkill Creek bridges. That's an advance to let on the 2021 tip. The Richmond Bridge, I believe that's from the border of the southern border, that will receive a match. And $1,835,000 for Country Club Road over US 22. So that will be for some bridge repairs as well. So, I mean, very important money is coming in from another program. There's $330,000 for the PA 33 Bushkill Creek bridges. That's an additional to what we've reported. And with the new money being assigned, an additional $170,000 to the Williams Township Canal wall replacement. So this new money is being spent in Northampton County, and we did the math. Now, this is not always going to work out this way, but we did just a little better than Lehigh County with this distribution of the new funds. So, and I take zero credit for that, but one thing I will credit with our progress being made at LVTS is Mike Emili. Mike has been our agent there, if you will, for the last 4 years, and the fact that there's the beginning of transportation equity in the Lehigh Valley has a lot to do with Mike Emili and the work he's done. Finally, I think that it's important to be honest when we're talking about COVID mitigation measures, and it is very important to encourage in the public confidence that in your COVID-19 mitigation measures. And to that end, in the very near future, maybe even as soon as next week, we'll be lifting the mandatory mask mandate in county facilities, not including the prison and not including Gracedale. They will continue to have their protocols as necessary for obvious reasons. But we're going to do that, and we're going to do that because we want to inspire confidence in people that We know when to put them on, when to take them off, and when we need to put them back on again. If we do, and let's hope we don't, they'll have the confidence that we are making good, solid, sound decisions about that. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. McClure. Are there any questions for the executive? Mr. Locke?
Just wondering about the testing site and the vaccine site down there at the old coordinated Lehigh Valley Hospital site?
Yes.
On 33, is that still going on?
It is. The most recent data I have, though, 8 people were tested. The day before that was 1, and then the day before that it was 3. The positivity rate is still 29%. It takes, once that number goes up, it takes a lot to move it. But far, far fewer people are being tested off of the peak of 334 tests a day. And of course, vaccinations are still taking place there
Is
as
that
we
still
speak.
open on the weekend and Saturday at all? Or
It is. Becky, are they still open? No, we're not open on Saturday anymore. Nope.
So we wound it down to the weekday?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're the vice president.
Oh, I know she left.
You're
I
in
have a
charge
question
now.
for you.
Okay. Look at that.
No,
You're the
she walked away.
You're the head angel now.
Yeah, I'm the small potatoes now. The DHS building with the phones, did we get that rectified? How long were we out of business?
About a day, about a full day. If
You know what
wanna-
happened?
Yes, I do. If you want a full explanation, Mr. Barron can come up and give it to you. Is he here?
He's right there.
Go ahead. Yep.
He didn't pay the bill.
I will try, oh geez, I will try not to be too technological about this. Ironton Telephone provides us with all of our trunk of phones. So when you call the
Trunk of phones.
I was explaining, 610-829-6700, 6701, 2, 3, those numbers. They are then pushed down to Service Electric, who provides the ring of fiber that we have that goes from the courthouse to the Human Services Building, back to 911, and we have a fiber circle, as they call it. Service Electric had built redundancy in. What ended up happening is Ironton Telephone had a server upgrade, and they had to move some of those numbers over, and they stopped communicating our numbers to Service Electric. Therefore, they did not ring. When they did that upgrade, they didn't re-implement the numbers right away. And that is what caused the problem. The second we knew about it, our IT department was all over them to get those numbers back up and running. There was a 24-hour period of time, probably about 6 hours, and then another 18 hours. But the emergency number was forwarded ultimately. So the IRIS over at Human Services was able to answer emergency calls for emergency services. But it was a 24-hour period. And then we did have another brief downtime. That was our IT department, and that was fixed pretty much immediately. So we had an outage of like 1 hour on the weekend after that happened, just to fix something on our end. Other than that, though, it was not anything we could control. The second we found out about it and we knew about it, we made sure that our IT department was all over Ironton and Service Electric. We had a big meeting about it on Monday, and I'm going to be working on some process improvements between those two providers. Our administration inherited those 2 vendors, though, because the numbers were implemented long before that, long before we got here.
I thank you for giving council an update on that, and I appreciate that, because we were kind of running blind there for a while, and I guess it caused some nervousness among some of the folks there, but I'm glad you guys got on it, and I'm hoping we make safeguards so it doesn't happen again, and you have my permission to put a foot up anybody's piece to you who screws up again, all right? The president's back, you can have it.
Interesting choice of word, Mr. Myers.
I'm never going to be boring.
Yes, sir, Mr. Brown.
Mr. McClure, when we talk about infrastructure, and there's never enough money, I think everyone in this room can agree with that. And the focus typically goes to bridges, whether it be county or even local with that. What I would ask is, in your role as a chairperson, that with the number of local municipalities that make up this county, they're constantly struggling either just to pave the roads, to keep up just to keep up with those kind of conditions that either they share with PennDOT or they own themselves. The county doesn't own any roads, so it's either township or the boroughs with that. So I would ask as monies become available and you guide some of these conversations, that if there's a way to find a means to get some money to the local municipalities that they can mitigate some of the challenge they have, especially with the warehousing and the trucks and so on and so forth that are beating up these roads at a rate faster than they can keep up with. I'd ask that on behalf of the local municipalities.
Mike and I will be inquiring as to whether there are any line items on the tip that might meet some of those needs. But what I will tell you is, and I think you know from your past work, the Community Development Block Grant Program also allows us to help some of those municipalities. I know Wilson, we're working with them on some big projects. So, and other municipalities all across the county have benefited from CDBG money with respect to the very repairs you're talking about, and we'll keep emphasizing that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. McClure? Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, moving into old business. Is there any old business to discuss this evening? Hearing and seeing none, let's move into new business. First, we have the consideration of the executive's appointments and reappointments to Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council, Elections Commission, Housing Authority, Industrial Development Authority, Mental Health, Early Intervention and Developmental Programs Advisory Board, Workforce Board, Lehigh Valley. Mr. Heckman, will you introduce the resolution?
Resolved by Northampton County Council that the following individuals shall be confirmed in their appointments, reappointments as indicated. Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council, Yolanda Braun, Easton, PA, term to expire 6/30/23. Elections Commission, appointment Sharon Gavin Levy, Bethlehem, PA, term to expire 12/31/23. Housing Authority, appointment Michelle Roy, Easton, PA, term to expire 2/9/23. Reappointment to the Housing Authority, Paulette Guilfoyle, Easton, PA, term to expire 2/9/27. The Industrial Development Authority, appointment Gordon Heller, Wind Gap, term to expire 3/17/27. Mental Health, Early Intervention and Developmental Programs Advisory Board, Christine O. Malika, PhD, Easton, PA, term to expire 1/23/24. Reappointment John Timothy Boyer, Bethlehem, PA, term to expire 1/23/24. Workforce Board, Lehigh Valley, appointment William B. McGee, Northampton, PA, 6/30/23. So moved.
Thank you. Is there any discussion regarding any of these appointments? Most were reviewed yesterday at the committee. Hearing none, let's call for the vote.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Lott.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Next, we have the consideration of personnel requests, Department of Fiscal Affairs Resolution. Mr. Heckman, will you introduce this?
Certainly. Thank you for running the meeting yesterday.
You're welcome.
Father Time intervened sometimes, and I couldn't make it, but I'm fine today. Bells and whistles. Do you want me, I don't know how much, I did go back and check the video. Do you want me to read the entire thing? 'Cause I listened to Mr. Barron's explanation, and do you want the entire thing read for
Yeah, might as
council's
well.
benefit? All right.
Since it's 4 separate movements.
Okay, you're right. You know, and I just wanted to be sure. It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that one full-time position of pension retiree and technology administrator, pay grade CS 23-5E, salary $60,277, shall be reclassified to CS 29-1A, salary $66,623 in the Department of Human Resources effective February 18th, 2022. It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that one full-time position of Accountant 1, pay grade 22, 1A, salary 48,273, shall be eliminated, and one full-time position of Deputy Revenue Manager, pay grade CS 24-1A, salary 52,925, shall be created in the Department of Fiscal Affairs effective February 18th, 2022. It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that one full-time position of Accountant 1, pay grade CS 22-1A, salary 48,243 shall be eliminated, and one full-time position of Fiscal Specialist, pay grade CS 21-1A, salary 46,097 shall be created in the Department of Fiscal Affairs effective February 18th, 2022. It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that one full-time position of Purchasing Administrator, pay grade CS 25-1A, salary 55,419, shall be created in the Department of Fiscal Affairs effective February 18th, 2022. So moved.
Thank you. Are there any comments or discussion regarding this matter?
Yes,
sir.
I did, as I said, I listened yesterday. I was observing, you know, I still wanted to do my job and I couldn't share. And I wanted to be clear, and Mr. Barron, I'm sure you can assure me, or Mr. McClure can assure me. I don't want to get into the name of people, but in human resources, the Pension Retiree and Technology Administrator would be shall be reclassified. And I believe because she was going to take on some new responsibilities. My concern is, and I'm addressing this to the executive, this individual is probably the best retiree benefit administrator that this county has had in a long time. And I know you've heard me say that at retiree meetings. I would hope that whatever is given her to do, I have no problem with her. She's qualified for just about anything. I don't want it to I hope it doesn't diminish the amount of time that she can put towards the retirees, because it's been a long, long time since they were able to make one phone call and get one answer as opposed to 4 or 5 phone calls.
She really loves that part of her job, and as you can see, we're upgrading the position.
Yes.
And so I think that was it. With the we're upgrading the position means we're paying her more money to take on the new responsibilities, not to shed her old ones. Now, there may be some minor duties that she currently has, because that's sort of the way things go in the gravity of that place, that we might shed from her, but not that duty. She'll still be doing that.
Okay.
It's a pledge.
Thank you. I mean, that's, you know, from experience, there's been issues over past years, and I've told you this for some time, that she's a refreshing change.
Yes.
And I've heard that from many retirees.
Yes.
So thank you.
She's very communicative with the retirees. It's a golden age for the retirees right now.
Okay. Put that in the record.
You know, I said that to her, and I said that I'm going to keep the person nameless. She goes, I bet you it was Mr. Heckman who said that. So you must have set it up that she knows it's you.
I didn't.
Anything else? Call for the vote.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Lott.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky. Yes. Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Next, we have the consideration of a donation to the Department of Corrections resolution. Mr. Myers, will you please read this?
Okay, go.
Whereas Northampton County Home Rule Charter, Section 202:10 provides the county council shall have, among others, the following powers: to accept on behalf of the county any gifts of real property, and to provide for the absence by any agency on behalf of the county of the gifts of other gifts. And whereas Northampton County received an anonymous donation of $6,700 towards the purchase and training of a K-9 narcotics dog to be used by the Department of Corrections. Now therefore be it resolved by the County of Northampton Council that it does hereby authorize county executive to accept on behalf of the Department of Corrections the donation in the amount of $6,700 towards the purchase and training of a K-9 narcotics dog.
Is there any discussion regarding this resolution? We did discuss this yesterday at the meeting.
Yes, we did.
Mr. Castor is here to answer any lingering questions. Call for the vote.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Heckman?
Yes.
Mr. Lot?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner?
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo?
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Next, we have the consideration of small business grants through the American Rescue Plan resolution. Mr. Lot, will you please introduce the resolution?
Sure will. Whereas on March 11, 2021, American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, H.R. 1319, was signed into law and is intended to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, including public health and economic impacts. And whereas Northampton County was awarded an allocation of approximately $30 million of American Rescue Plan funding to spend on various relief efforts, and whereas the Grant Review Committee, comprised of Northampton County Department of Community and Economic Development staff and county administrator, convened to review and make funding recommendations. The recommendations totaling $1,506,797.25 for 113 projects are attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit A. Now, therefore, it here is hereby resolved by the county, by the council of the county of Northampton. Number one, that the recommended grants in Exhibit A are approved. Number two, that the county executive of the county of Northampton is authorized to execute any and all necessary grant agreements with the application not to exceed approved amounts for each grant. So introduced.
Thank you. Is there any discussion regarding this? Sir.
Madam President, on behalf of the three members who sat and went through this list, we can say with honor and dignity that we went through this with the folks that gave us such a great background that we felt comfortable, and we also feel that there's no need for anybody to come up and tell us not to do this, because we're not going to have much money after we get done with this here. Our list is growing, and the next time we meet, we're probably going to be even eating up most of that. So it was a great meeting, and thank you for the folks who put the time in and told the new guys what it's all about.
Any other comments, questions? Mr. Lott?
Yeah, I was watching the video last night of, I wasn't able to attend yesterday, and it dawned on me, it was Mr. Heckman, Ms. Ferraro, and myself started this when we first got that money. And there was a lot of concerns, because when you have a lot of money to give out, you have to set procedure, and it has to be a solid procedure. And we had concerns about what the chamber role was and what the administration was. And I just want to commend the administration bringing in the chamber. I had my concerns, quite frankly, and I think it worked out really well. Our staff, we would have had to increase our staff in economic development to do this if it wasn't for the chamber, which would have meant at some point we would have had to lose these people. I am so happy there's new council people and to see this process, because so often in the last year we showed up and we, Peg, Ron, and myself, knew how much this was vetted as council people. But we always gave the numbers just like today, and we voted on it. And I can see where people would say, geez, you just giving money out. But if you're actually involved with the process and see how this is vetted and see the catches they get every time, I think it gives you a little bit more confidence as a council person on how well this has been, the process has been vetted and how well it has worked. I keep hearing all the people saying how wonderful a program it is, and I'm very happy it affected our community, small business community like it has. But as Mr. Myers has just stated, it'd be great if we could keep going with this, but unless we can get another big check from the federal government or start printing money or something to that effect, this program is going to come to an end, because we are running out of our money. We probably will only do about 113 more small businesses. The way I do the math, I assume we have about 101,500,000 left. That made for about 113 projects in this resolution. So I wish we could tell the people that this will last for the next year, but the reality is We set this up, we did the best we could to get it out quickly, and with always realizing that this is an opportunity to have fraud. So we set it up the best we could with the procedure. I personally was very confident in the procedure. So I just thought I wanted to, put that out there. It is coming to an end because we are running out of money unless our county executive has some other trick to pull out of his hat where we can get several more million. But thank you, and I will certainly be supporting this. And I'm glad to hear from the businesses, but we hear them individually too out there every day in the street. So we do know it has made an effect. So thank you.
Mr. Heckman.
Yeah, I just want to say, Mr. Lott, I think expressed it well. I got involved early on, not because I thought it was a bad program, but because I just wanted to see, okay, how are we doing this? Because you can line up 1,000 people on the sidewalk and say, do you need $1,000 each? And I would be shocked if anyone said no. So, I mean, when you're handing out money, you're handing out money. I want to give the highest of regards to Rebecca and staff and Jessica and the folks who have been involved. I never doubted their commitment. I was always, as I always usually am, I'm more about the process. And in fact, I was even talking to your boss the other day. And I don't know if he said anything, but I was complimenting you very highly to him. I just wanted to say, and I felt I could step away from the board, and it was good to let other people, and go in and get involved. Listening to the people tonight, again, I just don't know if people are being asked to show up. I'm still confused as to what resolution we have in front of us where we're ending this. I mean, enough's enough. I mean, if people are coming on their own volition, God bless them. And I want to hear everything they have to say, but I don't want people to be frightened. Good God. I don't know a council member that said, we're going to take this all back. I mean, there's been in cases where people know of businesses and they say, wait a minute. I stand by what I've said before. I am not moving away. This thing is on when I go into stores, but I'm one of like 10 to 5% who wears them. The communities are moving on. When California decides they're not going to make you wear masks, I mean, you can't get more left politically than California. And so, I mean, people are walking away from it. And as far as businesses go, I wanted to know, we have 1.5 million left in this fund? And that's it then, right? That's it. All right. So, I mean, I want people to know if there's no more money coming out after that, I'm going to support this. I'll support the other 1.5. I'm not going to say stop it. But, I mean, if we get more money that's discretionary, I really think we got to look into county functions. And also to those who say the prices have gone up, you don't have to tell a consumer the prices have gone up. You may be buying wholesale lots, but go talk to people who go into grocery stores, price chicken, price butter, price. So everybody's getting hit equally. And I heard something that was very distressing to me, and I hope that it works out better. And that is that, well, we can't, if we wait them out, they're going to have to come back to work. Now, tonight I heard a lot about, well, we can't compete. And I don't have an answer to that. I mean, when the times were in the 80s and that, and people were begging for jobs, it's supply and demand. You don't need to be an economic professor. The market was flooded with money. We have inflation. That shouldn't surprise anybody. I believe it was the Journal that said, and I told some folks this, 40% of the money in circulation today was printed in the last 3 years. So, I mean, of course we're in an inflationary cycle. And we'll never spend our way out of it. But I just want to say that I hope the money has in fact helped the businesses. I appreciate the ones who come up and say they held on to their staff. That happened at last meeting. To me, that's important. That fixing a hole in your roof that you could have maybe had with COVID or without COVID, that's a business expense. But I mean, if you're able to help sustain people, because you got to work with each other. I applaud that, and I applaud the businesses that can do that. But I just want to be clear, unless somebody points out some terrible thing about some business that's on the list, I have no intention of not supporting this for the money we have left. So if anybody's been told out there that they need to come because Ron Heckman has a plan to take away your money, he doesn't. But if you have a good one, let me know. I can always use a plan for the future. That's it, Madam President.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Giovanni?
As being a small business owner for 26 years in Northampton County, I had to retool a couple of times because I went through 2 recessions, but I didn't have a pandemic. Now the present company I work for, of course, we're in the pandemic. But I know how hard it is when you got to refocus, and people, during a recession, people aren't buying things. So they cut back on their capital projects. You have to lay off employees. So I'm really honored to be on this committee. I think Rebecca does a great job of going through tax returns, doing the back office work. And then, of course, the chamber weeds out the people also that Jessica gets. And Mr. Barron and Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, we all do a good job of vetting out these people. And I think we did a real good job. So I will also be supporting this.
Any other comments or questions? Call for the vote.
Mr. Lott.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky. Yes. Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Grofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Next, we have, what do we have next? Oh, me. Article 13, contract with Alberel Electric Incorporated, resolution. Whereas on February 1st, 2022, Northampton County Council received a request from the county executive for county council to adopt a resolution endorsing a contract with Alberel Electric Incorporated to replace generators at Graysdale and the Juvenile Justice Center over 18 months with a total cost of $682,245. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that Northampton County Council does hereby concur with the recommendation of the county executive as set forth in the attached documentation to approve the contract with Alberel Electric Incorporated. Any comments or questions? Mr. Myers.
Just to follow up, this came up in yesterday's meeting, and we talked about what needed to be done, and we realized that generators are older than one of our councilmen. So we feel that it's time that we replace them.
Guess
right,
which
JP?
You should have made a guess. Any other reasonable discussion?
Not you, Ron.
I was going to say, I think you're referring to Mr. Brown, but I'm not sure.
Call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Zirinsky. Yes. Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman. Mr. Lott.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Good job,
you.
JP.
Next, we have consideration of a request for study of I-80 resolution. Ms. Zirinsky, please introduce this resolution.
Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council as follows. 1, Northampton County Council supports regional efforts requesting the New Jersey Department of Transportation to immediately, 1, initiate a problem statement to study the safety, mobility, and congestion issues of I-80 from Exit 4, Portland-Columbia Bridge, and the Delaware Water Gap Bridge. 2, initiate a regional traffic study, and 3, delay the I-80 Rockfall project pending the outcome of the studies. 2, Northampton County Council encourages all municipalities, state, and federally elected representatives, organizations, and transportation agencies who serve Northampton County to consider similar actions supporting regional efforts as stated above. We discussed this in the Energy, Environment, and Land Use Committee meeting just this afternoon, and I think 2 resolves came out of this. 1, becoming voting yes on this means we become stakeholders and we will be informed going further. We will join a coalition of other members who are also stakeholders, including several of our own municipalities. And the support in itself is not costing us anything. There are no resources tied to this project, but the the support for this would give us the answers that we need in the future, considering this project. So I will be supporting this, and I would appreciate everybody else's support on this as well. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion regarding this matter?
On the people in the northern end of this, on our side, are they all joining in on this?
This was something that was discussed at the Energy, Environment, and Land Use Committee. There are members out here, Joe Emmerich, Mario Scavello, I think Susan Wild, Upper Mount Bethel, Lower Mount Bethel. Is that what you're asking?
I was asking if the other municipalities, I don't care about the politicians, I'm worried about the other
I
municipalities.
believe the municipalities are listed on your resolution.
Yes.
I think Mr.
I see Portland and Columbia.
So Northampton County municipalities,
Mrs.
including...
Orinsky, you're not recognized.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you see it, Mr. Myers?
It's the third whereas down.
Yeah, I see it. Madam President. So we got Mount Bethel, Plainfield, Portland, Penn Argyl. Those are the only ones that it affects? Bangor's not involved? Rosetta?
I think Lower Mount Bethel's involved, isn't
I'm sorry, Mr. Giovanni, couldn't hear you.
it? Lower Mount Bethel, I think, is involved too.
I do think so.
Yes, they were.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you're in favor of this, Mr. Giovanni?
I stand behind my municipalities, yes. I do.
You're my northern guy, so I
Yeah.
need to know what you are. Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
Mr. Lott.
This is not about the rock wall. This is about this studying, the last study, from what I understood from our committee meeting, was done in 2011. A lot has changed from 2011. So I don't think we're asking anything that's unreasonable. And I would just like to take this note that this has bipartisan support. Not only we often get that on this board, bipartisan support, but you don't see that too much on levels above us. And for some reason, we've actually got bipartisan support on another study from this U.S. senator down to our state senators on both sides of the aisle. So I just thought I needed to point that out, because you don't see that too much above us anymore. Thank you. Oh. So I will join in and support this.
Thank you.
We good?
Yes.
Anyone else have discussion on this matter? Call for the vote.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lott.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Okay.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Is there any other new business to discuss this evening? County Council Committee reports. Are there any committee reports? Ms. Zirinsky.
I just want to report that we went over this resolution today, and I want to thank everybody who allowed it to pass and voted for it. Thank you.
Any other committee reports? Yesterday, we held Personnel and Finance. The fruits of our labor were completed tonight. Thank you. Mr. Myers, do you have a committee report?
Yes, there will be a Courts and Corrections meeting on the 16th of March. Am I correct, Ms. Limba? And my time will be, roughly?
It will be right after Personnel and Finance.
So all those who need to be present on the 16th. If you ain't here, I'm going to talk about you anyway.
Do you want to report on yesterday? Yesterday's committee?
Oh, capital projects, yes. We're moving forward on 2 bridges that we have that are going forth. We also are working on the prison part that has come forth. That's getting done. And he did not give us a start date on that. And the chillers are in for the Juvenile Justice Center, and they'll be getting on that done right away.
Thank you. Any other? Council liaison reports. Ms. Zirinsky.
I just wanted to report on the Karst Geology Advisory Council. We had some discussion on the Boozy generator installation timeline, which apparently generators in Northampton County are a big discussion topic lately. They have procured this major equipment, and they're finishing the engineering, and they should be installed in the second quarter. So that is what actually keeps the Bushkill Creek going full. Okay, we also had PennDOT sit in to discuss the Route 33 project. They're going to use the floating perforated foundation, not micropiles, and also they're going to be using this system in the stream bed so that if there is any karstiology there, that any sinkholes that open up, they can go through the perforations to fill that, and that's going to help stabilize the bridge. We also talked about the DCNR work group, and members have responded favorably. This is a work group that has spawned out of this advisory council to move towards a state-level karstiology advisory council, because this is a problem that is throughout the state. DCNR right now wants to focus on local issues because we have enough local issues here with karstiology, and they will be meeting in April with state representatives to get the project going, and the focus will be on getting these state agencies together to, with the ultimate goal of having a statewide project. And the next meeting is March 9th.
Okay.
At 4:30.
Yes.
And if I'm out of order, let me know. Talking about all this water and whatnot, how are we with the eastern screw?
That is the hydropower plant, the Archimedes screw. I believe Mr. McClure or,
I'm sorry.
okay.
They are, I
No,
think.
it didn't get.
It didn't get put in.
I think they are planning to come and present to you in the near future, but I don't think they have a lot to talk about right now because their application is still pending before FERC.
Yeah,
But as soon as they have something to update you on, they're going to come. You're welcome.
yeah. So that, I guess that's what that issue is. But I did actually introduce that idea because there are 60 million gallons of water pumped out of Boozy Unisem back into the Bushkill Creek. I did talk about whether or not they could utilize a screw there, because if you have 60 million gallons of water, that's a lot.
Needs to be constant. And I'm not an engineer, but no.
Listen, Mike Amelia is, so
We
talk to him after the meeting. Talk to Mike after the meeting.
They're going to entertain it. Just saying.
Any other liaison reports? Council clerk report. I have something under council clerk report. Last week, they came and they checked the microphones after the meeting, and there was a malfunction in Mr. Heckman's microphone that created the malfunction in everyone else's. So it was not Mr. Heckman's malfunction, it was the microphone, and I just wanted to state that publicly. And they said once one was triggered, it was gonna affect all of them. So you were.
Your microphone infected.
I thought that was important to publicly record. Yes, sir.
For what?
Small business, 24th.
Oh, the small business grant is next week,
Yeah,
correct?
24th.
Yes, I
Correct.
think so.
One other thing before Mr. McClure goes.
Oh, don't worry about it.
No, I'm gonna let him know. Tomorrow night, if you're available, come on up to Freedom High. Little old Wilson's going for the league championship, and I'm coaching them.
If we're gonna
No
give
partisan
shout-outs,
favorites.
Madam
You've
President,
been plugging Bethlehem for the last month.
I just want to congratulate Saucon Valley's wrestling team. They're state champs this year.
Red and black,
And
baby.
so, that's the hometown. So I just had to put it out there. Congratulations, Saucon Valley Wrestling.
I think we'll be bringing those young men in here soon. Anybody else want to shout out? Solicitors report. Go ahead.
Congratulations to them as well.
I think we should have a
State
wrestling
champions.
night
Saucon Valley Becca in here.
in the house. We'll have the state winners in once we know who they are. Becca and Saucon. Okay, any other reports? That was not council clerk. Now we've digressed. Council solicitor?
Thank you, nothing.
Thank you, nothing. Call for adjournment.
Adjourn.
Second. Mr. Giovanni was first. I didn't hear the second.
Oh, thank you all.